How can you, as a parent, set your kids up for financial success? I mean, of course, my answer is always going to be real estate. But let's face it, there's a lot of financial planning that goes into purchasing a home. And that financial acumen simply isn't taught in school. I mean, I know every parent wants their kids to be successful. Today, I want to give you some tips on how you can help your kids get ahead of the game. Before we dive in, if you haven't done it already, I'd love for you to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I mean, it really helps me reach more people just like you. As a mortgage lender of 20 plus years and an owner of 24 investment properties, I get told all the time, I want to help my kids buy a home, but I don't know how. And with home prices continuing to be high and interest rates well into the sevens, I mean, home affordability is going to be a very real topic for the conversation for the foreseeable future. But I'll also say that a little bit of planning can go a very long way to help your kids. So I want to share with you how I was able to help all three of my kids purchase a home when they turned 21. And I want to double click on this just for a second because so many people think, well, but they had you as a mom. And I get that. I didn't buy my first investment property until I was 40. All I'm trying to do is get ahead of that, not only for my kids, but yours. So my first step was helping each one of my kids start to build credit. I mean, this can be overlooked because nobody wants their kids to have bad debt. But it's so important that we get ahead of that because without good credit, you're going to pay more or might not even be eligible to buy that home. So when each one of my kids turned 16, I added them to my credit card. And while my husband and I were continuing to make on-time payments, it was not only helping my credit, but my kids as well. So we know how important good credit is to becoming eligible for a loan. So that's where step 2 comes in. So it comes into play once they turn 18. We got each one of our kids their own credit card. I wasn't on that one. Now, we would help them pay it off, of course. They were still living with me. But they were very aware that the card was only to be used for gas, which kept the balance and the payments manageable. They were on their credit card at age 16, their own credit card at age 18. So by the time our kids turned 21, their credit was amazing. So let's double click on this and use my oldest son as an example. At age 21, he had good enough credit to be the primary owner of a home loan. And as a primary first-time home buyer, you can put as little as 3% down on the purchase of a home. But you have to be set up for success. This can't be a spur-of-the-moment thing that you just decide this weekend we're going to get our kid into a home, because if he doesn't have as good enough credit as he needs on his own, he couldn't be the primary. And that's why I say a little planning goes a very long way. So in terms of qualifying for the loan itself, that box was checked. Next, we had to move on to the down payment. Now, I don't know how many 21-year-olds have saved enough in their account for down payment and closing costs to purchase a home. And for our specific situation, we wanted him to be able to put enough down that the numbers worked. So we looked at all the numbers and decided 5% down worked. So he could have put just 3% down, but then the rents wouldn't have covered the mortgage payment. Now I have two choices. I can either gift him the 5% down, or my husband and I, in this case, chose to be on the loan. So my oldest at age 21 was still in college. He didn't have enough income to fully qualify on his own. So Peter and I co-signed. We were called non-occupant co-borrowers. By doing this, we were able to use our money for the down payment and our income to qualify. So he didn't get a gift per se. Now, the 5% gift. I know I've talked to a lot of parents that are like, but I don't necessarily want to give my kid money for their down payment. I'm taking care of my own financial future. And that was a real conversation that we had with Caleb. We told them that the 5% we put down was still ours, but we were investing in his financial future, knowing deeply the power of real estate. Now, if he ever chooses to sell or refinance, I could choose to waive that 5% I gave him. But I don't want him to know that at the time, because I want him to be all in as well. So we all signed on the dotted line. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, now, how is he supposed to pay the mortgage on his new home while he's still finishing college? Well, he's got roommates. I mean, he was able to rent out 4 bedrooms to his friends at $700 each. I mean, it's a 5-bedroom home. So ultimately, he lived for free. That's a pretty sweet deal if you think about it. And guess what? We bought that home 5 years ago for $410,000. Today, 5 years later, it's worth $684,000. Now, I understand the last 3 years worth of appreciation was far from normal. The point is that he now has an asset that will continue to gain incredible appreciation and set him up for success. If you want to run through your scenario and you want to start chatting numbers, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or leave a comment down below. And I'll see you next time.